What's going on, y'all? Your boy Darius here back in that video, and this time I'm here for my review of Transformers 1. Transformers 1. Yeah, man, I saw Transformers 1 today. And where do I begin? I'm not going to give any spoilers. This is going to be a spoiler-free review. All right, go, because honestly, I don't want you to get spoiled, because this movie's great, okay? Like, I had no expectations. I had very low expectations when it came to this movie, because, like, the first trailer, I was just like, okay, I don't like the feel or tone of this. I only saw, I think, the second trailer, which gave way more information about what the movie was going to be about. And I was like, okay, all right, this actually looks like a better trailer, a better movie. And that's all I watched. I didn't watch the third trailer. I just watched the first two. And I have to say, this movie, how do I put into words how I feel about this movie? Because I am not a Transformers like diehard, right? I'm not a Transformers diehard whatsoever. I didn't even grow up like with Transformers toys. Like I had like maybe a couple, but like my main exposure to Transformers, there was like some of the there's like one or two cartoons that came out when I was growing up in the 2000s, right? In the early to mid 2000s, in the late 2000s, I guess, leading into the 2010s. And of course the Michael Bay movies. The Michael Bay movie is probably the biggest thing for me, getting me into Transformers, along with those cartoons. It was the Michael Bay movies, man. Damn, Michael Bay, or who's this guy did it? The Steve Jablonsky score, you know, you know, that's what got me to Transformers. And I know those movies, you know, when I grew up later, when I got older in life, I realized everyone hated those movies, even though those were my movies, and I loved them. I at least loved one. I at least loved one, and I liked three. Two was a guilty pleasure until I got older, and I was just like, okay, this was not good. And then the Mark Wahlberg ones can get the hell out of here. Bumblebee was good, great. Rise of the Beast was pretty cool, was all right. But I'm gonna bury the lead here just by saying that Transformers 1 is the best Transformers movie that I've personally seen. And I add that caveat because I've never seen the original, you know, G1 Transformers, the animated movie, or whatever it's called. It was called like Transformers, the Transformers, the motion picture. That's what it's called, I think. That's the official title. And that's the one where, like, if you were fans of, like, the G1 series, all your favorite characters died and shit. You know, I've always heard about that. You know, it's got the Stan Bush songs. You got the touch. You got the power. Yeah. And there's a Easter egg, or like, it's a reference to that song in this movie. That's the one little, you know, I guess, spoiler I can say. There's a little reference to there. I caught it. There's some good references to like that. For example, there's some references to some other stuff. There's a reference to a Key and Peele sketch, because Keegan Michael Key plays B1, right, Bumblebee in this, and he has a reference to one of his sketches, and it absolutely got me. It got me, man. So I guess I should just start with what this movie is about, right? It's about Orion Pax, who will one day be known as Optimus Prime, voiced by Chris Hemsworth, who, when he was first cast, I was just like, man, why not just get Peter Cullen? But once I got into the movie, I'm just like, okay, I get it. This is a younger Prime. His name's not even Prime. It's Orion Pax. He's very different in personality than Optimus Prime is. So, like, you know what? For that characterization of, you know, Prime, Chris Hemsworth did a pretty solid job. And Brian Tyree Henry is not Megatron. You know, he doesn't become Megatron yet, right? He's not Megatron yet. He is D16, I think was his name. Who early on in the movie, I was just like, oh no, man, I just hear Brian Tyree Henry, because with Hemsworth, he's doing an American accent, and he's kind of putting some Peter Cullen in his voice. But, like, you know, yes, I can still hear Chris Hemsworth, but not as much as I could hear Brian Tyree Henry. And that stuck with me for a little bit, up until D16 reaches a point in his character arc where, like, and this is not a spoiler because it's in the trailers, that eventually it's going to show their clash. It's going to show their falling out, because Orion Pax and D16, they're bros, man. They're friends. And we get to see in this movie, we get to see their separation, how they become enemies. And it's honestly really sad when you think about it. Like, by the end, it's just like, damn, that was your friend. That was your friend. You two were buddies, working in the mines and stuff, both on this adventure to try to be more than what life, has told you that you are. You had each other's backs, and then when the split happens, when the turn happens for Megatron, it's just like, damn, dude, it's really sad. Like knowing, because I never knew anything about Megatron and Prime's relationship. Like growing up, all I knew is Autobots and Prime, good guys. Megatron and Decepticons, bad guys, and they've been fighting for however long, right? That's all I know. Never knew that they were friends, and I don't know if this is a thing that is from like the comics or the original G1 series or whatever. I don't know. I have no experience with that. Just as from what they're showing me here, seeing that origin, I was just like, this is really makes it heartbreaking to watch, and seeing where they go, like for example in the Michael Bay movie, seeing where they are there. I'm kind of taking this and applying it to that a little bit. Like, okay, so maybe those versions, they were friends like this, and it all went to hell. It's very sad, very sad. But the movie, I think this movie, I would say, is kind of like the Spider-Verse for Transformers, in that the Transformers movies obviously have had their highs and lows, like very lows. There have been some lows in Transformers live action. And it seemed like someone finally decided to wake up and go, hey, you know what, man? If we want a truly great Transformers movie, it's got to be animated, right? Like, just like Spider-Man movies, there's been great Spider-Man movies, but some low Spider-Man movies. And then Into the Spider-Verse came out, and it's just like, whoa, like, this is what we could do with Spider-Man and animation. And, like, we can, it's not just the fact that it's an animated movie, but, like, there's a real, like, story here. Like, there's plenty of people who consider Into the Spider-Verse or, like, Across the Spider-Verse as, like, the best Spider-Man movies ever made, and I would not fault them for thinking that, because like the story, even though it's behind animation, the story and direction is really good, and it's the same thing here at Transformers 1. So I thoroughly enjoyed the story of it. It's an underdog tale, right, and that gets told beautifully well. I enjoyed the characters and the voice performances, especially Brian Tyree Henry. Once D16 kind of makes that flip into Megatron, he sounds much more menacing with his voice work. Scarlett Johansson was Alita, I believe, and I thought she did a pretty good job. Same thing with Keegan-Michael Key. It's funny because he, as Bumblebee, which I don't think we ever actually hear him called Bumblebee, but as Bumblebee, he's very talkative. Like, he doesn't stop talking. He just keeps talking on and on. And I kept thinking about, like, maybe it was a, I don't want to say dig, but like kind of a reference to the fact that Bumblebee in the live action movies didn't really talk, like he lost his freaking voice box or whatever. And like, I think at the end of the first movie, they fix it. They say that they fixed it at the end of the first movie. By the time of Revenge of the Fallen, it's broken again, and he's got to, like, I always hated that gimmick. It overstayed his welcome. And it's like they compensated for that by, in this one, he just doesn't stop talking. It's funny. This movie, much like Spider-Verse, right? Even though it's an animated movie, even though you could say, oh, it's for kids, it's got plenty of jokes, but there are moments where it's just like, yeah, there's no laughing now. All right, this is a serious moment. We're gonna hold on this moment, let this moment breathe, let you truly understand the ramifications of this. All right, this is serious stuff we're dealing with here, and I appreciate that, man. I think. Hell, I think like live action movies, right? Like superhero movies, Marvel movies need to learn from that. Because a lot of time in Marvel movies, man, like there'll be moments, serious moments that get undercut by some comedy. This movie knew when to bring the comedy in and when to leave it out. I give this movie high marks for that. I'm trying to see what other bases I can cover here. There are two one like mid-credit scene, and then there's a post-credit scene at the very end. And I don't know if they're gonna make another one. Right, I don't know box office wise what this is going to do. I think it's gonna be a smash hit, especially word of mouth. A lot of people seem to like it. I've been looking at reviews ever since going to see it. I think it's gonna do well enough to get a second movie, and if it does, man, just give us that opening of Bumblebee, showing them on Cybertron and the war for Cybertron, all that stuff. Just give me that in an animated form, right? Just like take where we left off here and launch into. You can do a whole trilogy if you want to, man. And without humans, you don't ever have to bring in humans into this franchise if this becomes a franchise, man. I just want to see Autobots versus Decepticons at war. You know, if you want to do, bring in, the Beast War stuff. I don't know if they will though, because that was already in live action. But maybe they'll do it. Maybe they'll do, what the freak was his name? Who's there like Galactus, right? I mean, I know he was just in one of the movies, but Unicron. You did want to do like a Unicron thing, whatever, man. Just go crazy, have at it with this. I think you can launch a pretty successful franchise for Transformers in animated form, man. Transformers One gets a thumbs up from me, man. All right, let me actually do that over. I gotta get YouTube thumbnail. All right, thumbs up for me. Here we go. Engagement. All right, let me know what you guys thought. Comments down below. Right? Have you seen? Oh, I gave it a thumbs up. Let me get official rating. 4.5 out of 5. Right? So it's like a 9.5 out of 10. Or a 9 out of 10, I'd say. 9 out of 10, 4.5 out of 5. Really, really great stuff, man. The best Transformers movie I've seen. Me, personally. One day I'll watch the animated G1 movie. I'll watch that one day, but as for right now, greatest Transformers movie out there for me. Alright, so yeah, let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Have you seen Transformers 1? Will you be seeing Transformers 1? What are your thoughts on Transformers as a franchise? What's your favorite Michael Bay movie? Or your Michael Bay Transformers movie? He was a producer on this, which I know saw somebody who's just like, oh god, Bay's on this, but Bay's been pretty good with producing stuff. Not just, keeping away from direction and just producing. It seems to be doing him some good. So yeah, what's your favorite Michael Bay Transformers movie? Mine will always be the first one. It's the first one, hands down. I know certain people don't like it, but I love it. And this movie also ends, I forgot to add this in, this movie also ends with a kind of like Optimus Prime giving a message similar to the end of the first movie, and I can't wait for people to edit that to the ending of the first movie with Linkin Park, What I've Done. Oh, I can't wait, man. So yeah, hit the subscribe button, man. Hit the notify bell so you know every time I upload a new video. Leave a like, man, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.